from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, beautiful bakers, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the podcast. That's here. I'm here. You know, I'm here to. When you're in need, I'm here indeed. I don't like to rhyme. Like something Sneed. I say Sneed. Who's that? I don't know who that is, but sounds like somebody who would be in a sleep podcast. But tonight we're going to be talking about the Great British Bake Off in the most meandering and calming way possible, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast to put you to sleep. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. Before we get to the episode, or before we get even started here, you know, Sleep With Me is built on empathy and compassion, and that means supporting you, not just with good sleep, but with other resources. If you're in need of extra help right now, there's resources you can connect with in our show notes. It's about supporting the members of our community and being a part of positive change, not just saying Black Lives Matter, and not just saying stop Asian hate, but learning more and taking action. And there's links to resources that can support that in the show notes as well. So thank you for being a part. You know, I'm here for you, and we're here. You know, we got to be here for the members of our community all around us. So that's what's really important in the end about the show. So that's why the show even exists at all. So thank you so much. And here's the ways I'm able to be here for you twice a week for free. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots here. I got a couple quick questions for you. I always ask these, like, how many episodes of Sleep With Me do you listen to a month or a night? Is it 4? Is it 8? Is it 12? So that's question one. Question two, how much do you pay that mega cable corp or super streaming service, every single month? And then would you give Scooter a raise? Like, would you give Scooter a raise compared to what you pay that streaming service or your cable company, from $0 to $5 a month, or from $0 to $10 a month, or $0 to $20 a month? And you might say, Scoots, this is a free podcast. That's the wackiest thing I've ever heard. And I say, yeah, those are the people I'm looking for. If you're in a stable financial position, you get value out of the podcast, especially considering the stuff you pay for every month. And then, yeah, are you that 1 out of every 100 people that's just wild enough to say, wait a second, I get what you're saying. I'm going to give you a raise from $0 a month to $10 a month because you're worth it. Because I get a lot out of the podcast. I listen every single night. And some of you might say, well, you might be like, you're a tougher boss. I get it. I respect that. And you might say, well, come into my office, Scooter. Yeah, you put me to sleep every single night or 4 nights a week. But what else is in it? And I say, okay, $5 a month, you get ad-free episodes. $10 and $20 a month, you get bonus episodes, all intro episodes, all night episodes. There is so much in. I don't know. Are you the kind of boss that's wild enough to pay for a free podcast? Are you the kind of supervisor that's so wacky you'd go from paying me $0 to $5 or $10 a month? Well, if you answered yes, and that's okay if you don't. Really, it's only a small percentage of people that really are that wild. So if you are that wild and you're in a position to do so, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. You could support the show. You could give value back for the value you get out of the show, and you get amazing bonus stuff. You're a part of an amazing community, and you're a rebel. You're so rebellious to pay for a free podcast. That's at sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody. Sleep With Me is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. In May's Mental Health Awareness Month and throughout June, Sleep With Me is proud to join the cause of destigmatizing therapy. If you've been struggling with relationships or having difficulty sleeping, meeting your goals, if you've been feeling anxious or stressed, BetterHelp counselors can listen and help. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional. You could start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. And BetterHelp's therapists have a broad range of expertise that may not be locally available in your area. The service is available for clients worldwide. All you need to do is log into your account anytime, send a message to your counselor. It's super easy to to schedule weekly video, phone, or even live chat sessions. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they can make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. And so many people have been using BetterHelp that they've been recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. And again, I'm someone that utilizes therapy with a licensed therapist. It's a huge part of my ability to be here, to make the podcast, to live my life, and to be present and to flourish. And I really believe in therapy. And I know from my personal life that BetterHelp is helping. So this is just something you want to try out. If it's something you're interested in, if it's something you feel like you need or you want, our listeners can get 10% off their first month of online therapy at BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme. BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive, one of the country's leading providers of auto insurance. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you could say what kind of coverage you're looking for and how much you want to pay, and Progressive will help you find options that fit within your budget. Use the Name Your Price tool and start an online quote today at Progressive.com. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Yep, the loudest part of the podcast is where I thank the listeners who supported the sponsors so I can be here for you free. And right now I'm looking for listeners who support free trials on the show. Have you signed up for a free trial? I mean, a free trial with Headspace, Acorn TV, ZocDoc. Have you downloaded Best Fiends? I mean, those are amazing services and products. You get to try them for free and you support the podcast. You know, let me know about it. Let them know about it so I can thank you for your support. I really, really appreciate it. So if you sign up for Headspace free trial, ZocDoc free trial, if you sign up for the Acorn TV free trial, or you're playing Best Fiends, let me know about it. I'll say thank you. That's the first part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need. If you need extra support right now, there's links in the show notes, and it's about supporting the members of our community and taking action to be a part of change, supporting the members of our AAPI community, saying Black Lives Matter with our actions. And one organization I support is NAPAWF. That's the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum. You can go to napawf.org to learn more, to support them, and to take action. And that is the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
This posty poster song sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Kenny, Scotty, and Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. You can get me through our contact page on our website or at Dear Scooter on Twitter and Instagram. What do you say I slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. So whether it's thoughts, you're thinking about things on your mind, thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, changes in time or changes in time or temperature, or seasonal stuff, whatever, whatever is keeping you awake. So it could be things you're thinking about, something you're experiencing emotionally or physically, or something else. Or you might not know. You might just say, like, this is, like, if you were saying it in a detached way, you'd say, well, this is inconvenient. And that's kind of one of the, I just want to say, that's one of the ripples around sleep for me. But I don't know if it is a ripple. When did ripple, so you got ripples in water, and you have ripples, what's a ripple in ice cream? I see that all the time. They say there's ripples of something in here, or ribbons of it. And I say, well, maybe I should come back to this. I don't know. This podcast is hopefully like ripples in still water. Maybe, but whatever's keeping you awake, you could be like, well, if you sleep on a boat, inconsistent ripples, like a gentle, consistent ripple would be great. Well, here's an idea. Theme park people, hear me out. If you own a water park, and you say, well, we're looking for a way to maximize revenue, because I know a lot of you, I'm not judging you. I just say, well, that's probably something most people are looking to do. And you have one of those wave machines, right? Those wave machines, I think they were big in the 90s or maybe the aughts. Like, here's my take on wave machines. No offense, water parks. I'd rather go down a water slide. But I say, what? So let's get in it's like a swimming pool, but you bump in, like everybody's bumping into you. Okay. Sounds not like, it's like being in real water. Like, and I say, okay. Wait, so I'm going to get it. It's like being in a bathtub with a bunch of people bumping into you. Okay. Well, I guess I'll pass on that. But my idea for water park entrepreneurs, like if you're looking to do it, let's say you're some sort of corporate, whatever you call them, where you buy stuff, and you like Gordon Gecko or whatever. Here's an idea. You say, okay, well, yeah, we just can't make that work. We wanted to purchase Water Parks Unlimited, the entire Wisconsin. We were going to purchase the entire Wisconsin Dells, but we just can't make it work. We can't make the bottom line work. We're close. We just need one thing to push, we want to, and I say, well, I got it for you, Gordon. I can't give it to you for free, but I can because it's a sleep podcast. Because here's the thing, when one of the downsides of sleeping on a boat, I would imagine, is that sometimes there's waves, sometimes there's not, sometimes there's something passing by. And for me, that is one of the things I say. If there's something consistent, I can sleep to it. But when it's inconsistent, it gets on my nerves. So I don't know if anybody else is hearing me, but I mean, but this would be like a hotel package thing. You get like some sort of something like you'd see like a cryogenic chamber, and you put them in the wave pool, and you say, oh yeah, these are our individual sleep pods. You get to sleep in the wave pool. I mean, you could make an island or something too. I'm sure you could design this, and you see, lulled to sleep gently in our wave pool, because you say, well, because the water park's got to close down at dark. I think most of them, that's when they close down. I don't know. Hear me out, though. I think it's a possible idea. Also, there's other ways. The people use that sweet rocking of the waves can cause the hearts to pitter patter and hands to be held, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't know if it ripples in water or keeping anybody up at night. Wrinkle. I think that's the word I was actually looking for, and I don't even know where I refer. But whatever's keeping you awake, I'd like to take your mind off of that. That's what I'm here for. If you're new. And what I propose to do is to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. So I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to say, okay, well, what was I talking? Oh, yeah. So that's all to take your mind off stuff so you can fall asleep. So if you're new, a couple of things to know up front, a little late, but if you're skeptical or doubtful, or you're not even sure, you're like, I don't know if I like this, just like a wave pool. Remember, think about your first time at a wave pool. You say, I don't know if are there any, I mean, I think there are people, I think a wave pool is a bit like other things where you think, it's really only good when you remember it and you anticipate. You say, well, I can't wait to get in that wave pool. And then you get in there and you say, why am I in here when I could be going on a water slide or the lazy river? If you are a wave pool fan, I'm not trying to take anything away from it, especially if I can imagine if you're in there in the off season when it's not super busy, that it might be nice. Or if you rent it out, like for surfing, I've seen that on a promotional video. That would be cool. Or body surfing when it's empty. But you say, well, like this, like I'm just thinking of it when I've been to them. So it's just my experience. I'm making an assume out of wave pools in May. Where was I though? I have no. If you're doubtful about this podcast, that's a normal reaction when you first get here. Why wouldn't you be? You probably heard about thousands of things to try to put you to sleep that you've tried. And somebody said, well, there's this dude that just talks about nothing to put you to sleep. You kind of tell, it's kind of like a bedtime story that never starts and never ends at the same time. And you say, and the people that told you about it, they say, it's amazing. Or my cousin loves it. You know, it's not for me, but you try it out. So of course you're going to say, wait a second. Okay. So that's a normal reaction. And the majority of listeners that have listened to the show, even since the beginning, say, give it 2 or 3 tries. That's how long it took me to get used to it. Maybe that's what wave pools say. Hey, give me 2 or 3 tries, and you'll never. That'll be it. I mean, maybe that's it, but I'll keep coming back. I mean, that's the thing with the wave pool. I say, well, I paid whatever $44 to get in here, and if anybody that owns a water park is the Wisconsin Dells, that's like the water park capital of the planet, like at least of the U.S. It's one of my dream stops. I haven't been there. And, maybe 2021, 2022 is the year. 2022 probably, because I'm recording this year in my future. I'm still in 2020. So, give the podcast a few tries. That's the one thing if you're new. The other thing is, the other 2 things is this is a podcast you don't really listen to. Maybe like a wave pool, if you're not going through it there for the waves, you say, well, I'm just going there. I'm going to just float. And that's what a lot of people do. And they just enjoy the motion. Or maybe they say, well, I'm not into the water slides. I'm into and I'm not into the lazy river. They may say the lazy river is they say that's the same thing. You're just on a tube bumping into people. You say, I don't need my leg or my ankle touching someone's shoulder that I don't know. I mean, that's what I would say. That's just who I am, though. Let's just be straight. I like to have my boundaries nice and not nice and tight, nice and wide. I say, can I have one of those 2 people inner tubes just for me and then attach another one? Oh, no, it's not even, they say, well, that's just, you just don't want to bump into it. No, even the people I know, I don't want to bump into. Not into that. You say, let's make a raft, friends. No, thanks. I'm in the lazy river to kind of be like try not to be with my thoughts and just float around. Okay, so it would just kind of consume the podcast like that, where you're just kind of drifting, just barely pay attention. I know, and at first it could be tough, but after a while you say, oh, this podcast never like I said, it never starts, it never ends. It does, but if you approach it with that kind of mindset, you say, okay, I guess I'll try to consume it in that way. And that's a challenge for me. Can I, in the future, enjoy those things a little bit more and just be in the wave pool or be in the lazy river and not, we kind of get caught up in my own things and say, okay, you can handle the scoots. I mean, I think I'm getting that kind of self-talk. It'll be fine. Your ankle could touch someone's hair. It's not like, and I'm not even worried about, like, it's just my boundaries. It doesn't have anything to do with anything beyond that. I'm not I don't have any phobes or whatever. I'm not thinking about that. It's just like, it's very, very lizardy. My lizard brain says, no, I'd prefer our bubble stay around us forever. So I'm working on that. So don't pay attention to me. We barely listen to this podcast. This podcast doesn't really put you to sleep. It's just kind of here while you fall asleep. which is a little bit different. That's why the episodes are about an hour, is to give you plenty of time to drift off. And then if you can't sleep, the episode will be here for you to keep you company. So that's, don't listen to me and I won't really put you to sleep. I'm more here as my job is to, keep you company as your boyfriend, your boy bae, your boy cuz, your boy bestie, your boy bruh. If you see me at the wave pool, say, what's up, boy bruh? You gonna do some body surfing? And I'd say, if you could clear all these toddlers and their grandparents out of my way, then no. I say, well, then I would start thinking about what's in, and cycle the water out 40 times. So, okay, where was I? Holy, and I'm not being judgy about the wave pools. It's my own, it's clearly my own issue. It has nothing to do with other people. It's just the idea that that's like, oh, this is something about water changes. Well, it doesn't change my relational boundaries. It's just people, like, if you weren't in water, it'd be clear. It'd be like, whoa. That's, you're within, if my, leg hair could touch you, because it's like, my leg hair goes straight out, then that's way too close. Where in water, you say, that's totally, you just roll with it. I guess a well-adjusted person just rolls with it. So kind of just barely roll with this podcast, but also it will put you to sleep or keep you company as you fall asleep. The other things that can throw new people off is the structure of the show. And that's natural, just because our structure of the podcast is very different. It starts off with a greeting, so you know you're welcome here. Then there's a supporter zone, is support for the listeners and support for the show. So resources for listeners and then sponsors and stuff, so we can keep this podcast free for you. Then there's the intro, which has been going for about 12 minutes. And the intro goes from anywhere from about minute 6 to minute 20 or so. And it's the same every time, and it's different every time. Every time I try to introduce a podcast to new listeners, and I get distracted and I go off topic and I talk about something, and then I probably re-talk about it for about 8 minutes. And then I'll try to talk about the structure of the show, then I'll go back, just like you've observed thus far. And just like the water, how do you think the water in a wave pool feels? Or a lazy river, like the molecules, they say. It says, I've been by this palm tree 4,000 times in the last 2 days. Or, whatever we say, so, I don't know. Oh, my point is that the intro kind of goes on and on and on. Now, and my thoughts get cyclical, but that serves a couple purposes. One, to introduce new people to the show and kind of to give you an idea what you're in for. But for the regular listener, you got some options. As you become a regular listener, you could, 2% of people skip ahead to 20 minutes. And then the rest of the listeners kind of use the intro in different ways, but all of them combined kind of use it as a part of their wind down routine. Now, for some listeners, they fall asleep during the intro, but for most listeners, they're getting ready for bed, or they're in bed getting comfortable, or they're doing some other relaxing pastime to get some distance from the day. And I don't know, just to give you a long runway into sleep, because I found for me, so like, that's what works best, and for the people this show works for. So the intro is a slow descent into sleep, ideally, and it gives you something to listen to take your mind off of whatever's keeping you awake. So that's the intro. Then there's business between the intro and the episode. That's kind of how podcast structure works, and you can always find those sponsors at our website. Then there's the episode, which we'll be talking about Great British Bake Off, Pastry Week, Patissier Week, and it'll be in a kind of, I don't know, a barely coherent recap of what happened and what people talked about, what people were wearing, what they were doing. So it should be fun, but also very distracting and meandering and easy to sleep to. You won't miss anything. You could listen or re-listen to the episode, but ideally it's here to provide you a level of comfort and a level of distraction, and also just give you permission to barely pay attention to it. And then the show ends with thank yous and good nights. So that's the structure of the show. And the other things I can think, and the other main important point is that I make this show because I've been there, tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. I've had all those things. I mean, look, how many people have wave pool issues? I mean, probably the Venn diagrams, like, sleep with me listeners, you say, yeah. I mean, I enjoy water parks, but I do a lot of thinking about the water parks too. So, or you say, well, I'd like to, you look at yourself in the mirror. This is what I do. One day, I'm going to be a person that could fully, was so well adjusted. I'm going to enjoy that water park, even waiting in line when the kid tries to go by me and his bathing suit wipes against my, thigh, like side of my thigh. I say, oh, more, no. And then I also say, what are you doing? Oh, why my family's up there. I say, well, okay. But the line starts down at the bottom of the stairs. Well, I'm 7 years old. What? I want you to wait in line because it's, so I got that, I got that. I said, well, the line's back. Well, my family's up there though. Okay. Well, yeah, they'll meet you at the bottom of the water slide. Of course, when I was 7, I was probably doing the same thing. So anyway, I'm glad you're here because, I know how it feels. Those are the kind of things that still go through. I'm not 7 years. See, and then 2 years later, I'll be lying about, what were you saying? Why you gotta, you don't work at a water park. Why do you gotta enforce the line? Just let the kid go up with his family. I mean, that's really what goes, so what kind of person does that? And I say, I thought you wanted me to be assertive for our needs. Yeah, but it's a 7-year-old waiting in line for a water slide. Right, but I waited and then that 5 hours later. So I've been there. That's one of the reasons I make the show. The other reason I make the show is because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place of respite where you have a little bit of distance between the day and the night, and where you can get the rest you deserve so that you can live your life more fully. So that's why I make the show. I really appreciate you coming by. Give it a few tries. Like I said, I don't benefit from people listening if it doesn't work out for you, but I hope it does. I mean, I wish I could make a podcast that worked for everyone, but it just works for the people it works for. So give it a few tries. I really work hard. I yearn and I strive, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple ways I'm able to bring this podcast twice a week. All right, everybody, Scoots here. It's time to upgrade your apartment. It's time to upgrade your home, but do it the easy way. Go to livefeather.com and use the promo code SLEEP and join the furniture revolution. Just like music, just like movies, why would you want to own something that you want to change on a regular basis? Just like the majority of people don't want to be locked into watching the same movie every night. Do you want to live with the same furniture forever? Because I don't know about you, but I've moved enough times and lived in enough places to say, you know what? It might just be easier if there was a service that I could just rent furniture from, but not just any furniture that's stylish, a furniture that's well made and looks good. And that's why you got to check out Feather. I mean, people move between 6 and 8 times before they hit their early 30s. Feather is a furniture rental company designed for people who want to feel at home no matter how often they move. They save you money. I mean, furnishing a one-bedroom can cost upwards of $6,000. And with Feather, you can furnish a bedroom with high-quality, beautifully designed furniture for the cost of your monthly utility bill. The delivery team brings the furniture directly to your home in as little as 7 days. No setting up a separate delivery through a third party. So you could go from an empty apartment to a fully furnished home without lifting a finger or assembling anything. Just picture that. New chest of drawers, a new nightstand, a new bed frame. And they have everything. Rugs, lamps, wall art, and more. And then let's say you move to a different place, different layout, maybe a little different style. No problem. You can easily get furniture that works for that space. Plus, by renting from Feather, you're choosing a sustainable alternative to fast furniture that won't end up in landfills. Feather has changed the way I look at furnishing because I know I'm going to be moving at least a few more times in the next 4 years. And I'm tired tired of putting furniture together with a little wrench that I'm just going to put on CL for free in a year or two. I want something that looks good, that works well, but is hassle-free. And that's why I love Feather. So try a new way to furnish your home. Right now, Feather has an exclusive offer just for Sleep With Me listeners. If you go to livefeather.com and use the promo code SLEEP, you'll receive $500 off your first month. That's livefeather.com and use our promo code SLEEP for $500 off your first month. Get over there and send me some pictures. So thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Reliefband. And you could go to reliefband.com and use a promo code SLEEP, and you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. And our Reliefband is the first thing I'm packing because we're looking at doing some car travel and some air travel this summer. And I'm going to make sure that Reliefband is charged and ready to go. So whether I feel car sick or my daughter Sophia doesn't feel well, or let's say we go out on a boat, or let's just say we get a case of too many milkshakes going this summer, I know we can count on Reliefband because I've counted on it in the past and it works for me. It works for my daughter. And there's nothing like nausea to get in the way of your road trip or your summer fun. So get a Reliefband now and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about changing your plans, changing your clothes, or just, needless suffering. So you got to check out Reliefband. Reliefband is the #1 FDA cleared anti-nausea wristband that has been clinically proven to quickly relieve and effectively prevent nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and so much more. The product is 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, and provides all-natural, long-lasting relief with 0 side effects for as long as needed. You just put it on your wrist, you turn it on, you could adjust the strength. It is absolutely amazing. The technology was originally developed over 20 years ago in hospitals to relieve nausea from patients, but now through Reliefband is available to everyone. And it makes an amazing gift. I mean, talk about giving someone some freedom. Give them a Reliefband. The Reliefband has worked wonders for me, for my daughter, and for other people in my family. Like, I'm not going to go on a road trip or a flight without my Reliefband. So as the world is opening back up, don't let fear of nausea keep you on the sidelines. Right now, Reliefband has an exclusive offer just for Sleep With Me listeners. If you go to reliefband.com and use the promo code SLEEP, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping and a no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. So head to reliefband.com. That's reliefband.com and use our promo code SLEEP for 20% off plus free shipping. Thanks, everybody. All right, it's time for Patissier Week. I think this is probably the first and last time I pronounced it correctly. And it starts off with a teaser full of tears. Pastry out, pastry in. High-end Patissier. Everybody running around, going rogue. Someone's going, this is the final countdown, the episode before the finals. And the good thing is nothing seems to be going right for anybody. And then we have the theme, the opening, and then we go to Noel and Sandy, and a bit of a another one of a slow comedy. Let's see what happens. Noel and Sandy are talking. A little bit worried, partly because it's a semifinal, but Patissier, it's French. I don't know anything about it, Sandy says. Well, says, don't worry, I got a half French. She goes, which half? He goes, I don't know. My parents never told me. And then he turns, because he was in profile, and he turns, and his other half is the image of a Frenchman with a mustache, a striped shirt, and a half beret. You know, this new Prince album just came out, and that's one of the songs on there. Just super deep cut, like the eighth disc, if you're buying it. She wore a half beret. The kind you find and you don't find at a secondhand store. Then we have our talking heads walking in. There's hand holding. See, Noel walks off. He's smiling. Then the camera goes overhead. Semifinals, baking battle royale. That's a alliteration royale. Whittled down to 3. Ruby and Bryony hold hands. Kim Joy talks about the added pressure. Judges were harsh last week. Don't want to disappoint them. Bryony says it's going to be not easy. A little bit nervous. Rahul doesn't even want to think about it. It stresses him out. Ruby, on the other hand, is pumped up. She's like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm excited. And then it says, okay, Baker's got to make it through 3 Patissier challenges. Stress City. Totes a Mosh is where Bryony is. Totes a Mosh. Ruby talks about digging deep. I'll find something. At some point she says, I ran a marathon, so this is, I'm ready. Semifinal, how tense is that? Somebody says 24 dipped Madeleines. And that's two different versions, 212, not just 24. Creative and decorative, clean, sharp lines. And it's going to be a high standard. So high, Paul goes from his denim shirt to a 3-toned blue indigo shirt. They got an hour and a half. Set your clocks. Semifinal. Wind 4 of us. Rahul's never had Madeleines before, so that's Paul goes, yeah, come on. It's about finesse, precision, finesse, he says, correcting me. Deceptively difficult to make. Prue talks about the classical shape, the lines of the mold, perfect ridges, and then a bump. That's what keeps going through. A camel's hump, a gentle rise. You got to get that batter right from the start. Genoese sponge. You got to cool it down, just like they would say. Slow it down and watch out, because if you don't, you're going to lose your hump. So you cool it down. Put your pans in the freezer with Uncle Ebenezer. Bulbous bump, Ruby says. Rahul says, a nice little hump. It's quite cute. There's baking powder. Some people are using baking powder to help with their bump. Rotational is just air and eggs to give it its rise. Eggs and sugar. Light and fluffy. Eloise bump? I don't know what that says. Ruby's not freezing rhubarb? I don't know what that says either. Baking powder. Some people are less or more. How much? Give it a little rise. Elusive bump, Ruby says. Hello, Ruby, they say. Oh, you're not freezing your rhubarb or something? Raspberry. And lemon. Fresh raspberry in the Madeline batter. Paul says, not frozen raspberry. Try some mess with her head. Orange and stem ginger batch, and then a white chocolate and raspberry. Or dark chocolate in one of them. Paul says, this is going to be not an easy one. She goes, it's fine, Paul. I can take it. Leave me alone. So she lets him have it, which I like. She says, explain somewhere else, dude. She goes, I'm going to do my best to hit the road. And then I got to deal with Noel. Okay. Also, Rahul, a 2-time star baker, Rahul is also doing, lemon and raspberry and white chocolate, which Ruby says, wait a second. Orange and chocolate is the other one. He's baking fresh raspberries in his batter, and then orange curd in the hump of his other Madeline. And Paul says, do you got to use the baking powder? He goes, yeah, I did. I tried that once, but it didn't have the hump. He goes, one should have a hump. He goes, the other one with the raspberry, I'm not sure what the hump is now. I'm getting the hump now. I'm getting the hump, Paul. Paul's making jokes about his ability to go on. And they have to take the flavors of the Madeline, too, to a whole new level. Bryony's putting some mint in there, delicate mint flavor. Kim Joy, orange batter. Head to herd, lemon and raspberry, white choco. Getting the hump now. No pressure at all, Rahul. Zest, mojito, spiced rum. This is Bryony and Sandy. Sandy and Brian are close. And Sandy says, you know, you're gonna booze it up on those. And she goes, oh yeah. Prue does not want tea in her Madeline. She says, I don't want tea in my mouth. Bryony says, don't worry, I got really fine tea. We'll find, you know, it won't get any in your teeth. Good luck. I'll do my best. Noel says, cocktails. Prue's all over it. Batters made, the race against the clock. Baker's got to chill, man. 10 to 20 minute chill time. Ruby's doing 10. Noel says semifinal. How about it to her? She's trying to work. She goes, what do you mean? He goes, what do it mean for you? Are you excited or nervous? She goes, excited. She goes, wouldn't you be shocked? He goes, yeah, I didn't know if you'd make it past week 2. And she says, same here. Then Kim Joy's trying to stay focused. She's chopping some sort of nut, ginger and lemon madeleines and orange bunny madeleines. Oh, pistachios she was chopping. Chop, chop, chop those pistachios. Aim for perfection. Cute little bunnies. I won't let you down, Peru. But you got to get that flavor right. We know you're doing to decorate. You're very artsy. You have a good eye. Noel says, your stuff always looks beautiful. Then we see Noel and a person in a gorilla suit playing shuttlecock, badminton, that's what it's called. When I watched the episode, I was like, what do you call the game you play with shuttlecocks? Shuttlecocks and humps. This episode is full of filling. Then we see everybody filling their tins or their bins. Paul and Prue are talking humps and putting fruit in a rise. For me, Paul says Madeline's got to have that classic bump, man, but not a huge bump, Prue says. No, I don't know if they're going to use they're not using the proper method in my book. The Hollywood handbook in this case would be no baking powder. I'd like to hear Paul Hollywood on Hollywood handbook. Has Paul Hollywood been here? There's the thing. Maybe he already has. I'd have to search Hollywood on Hollywood handbook. That would be, because I don't know if he would get it. So it could be one of those episodes where he doesn't come back, which would make it a good one. Okay, so I got lost there. But let me know if you, has Paul Hollywood been on Hollywood Handbook? Because he has his own Hollywood Handbook he's always telling people about. But he would seem like the perfect guest for it, just because of the strong feelings about Paul online, and he has strong opinions. Trying to think who was on there that said strong. Oh yeah, I'm trying to think what the nickname for this person could be, so I don't say their name. They were famous in the 80s on MTV, and they were kind of a male version of a Valley Girl. Okay, so into the oven, critical minutes to create the hump. Temperature differences have to be spot on. Half an hour left. No time to breathe. Artistry and finesse are important. Frantic moves, finishing touches. Rahul talks to Sandy. What's good? What's going in there? Orange curd, by the way. She goes, semifinal. I'm excited for you. He's not, because I'm not thinking about that. I'm just, then I'll worry. And then he's not really talking to her. So she's still talking to him. She goes, can you hear? I can't really communicate with you when you're bent over by the oven. And he's not really answering his questions. She says, no, nothing there at all. Okay, we've just stopped communicating. Sorry. Oh, no, they haven't humped at all. They do have a small bump, though. I think he's underestimating his hump size. Kim Joy has giant ones. Rubies have a small one. I guess I don't know why they're overjudging, but maybe they're looking for their Madelines are supposed to have bigger humps. Don't worry. I'll be the first. Ruby cuts her Madelines. So she says, I'm going rogue. I got to cut these to make them look nice. Rahul has piping problems. And he's dipping them. They look nice. Red cocoa butter one. Noel says, I'll man the fort. He goes, yeah, they do look a little small, though, as bumps. Is that good or bad? 12 bunnies. Kim Joy's got 12 bunnies to pipe. A great signature sentence? I don't know, Sandy says. Let's see what she says, because I'm like 2 seconds ahead. Decoration time. Quickly dipping. He's a bit wonky. Getting them is all about precision, Sandy says. Kim Joy's running. 12 bunnies to pipe. 12 bunnies to pipe. On its own, a great sentence. 1 minute decoration stress. Time is up. Rubbish. Adorable. A good hump. You have a good hump on you, Kim Joy, somebody says. Atrocious mess. So then they do the judging. Rahul is looks amazing, perfect hump, very good. Raspberry balances, great flavor, absolutely delicious, great triumph. Thank you. He's smiling. So somebody says, "Stop grimacing, man. You did good." Then Ruby, aka Rubes, bit of a mess, too much butter on your shells. Texture of underbaked polenta. That's a bit harsh, but the flavors are good, but not your best. And she says, "I'll take it." For Bryony, they say, "Zany icing, your hump's not bad, but I'm not getting any lime or mint flavors. But I love the coffee bean flavor. Color's a little bit dark, which plays into your baking." Then they go to Kim Joy, nice, beautiful. Too much, you got too big a bump, too much of whatever the chemical rise. Not a massive flavor, not enough orange in your sponge, just a bit of hint of it. And then they go to the talking heads here. Afterwards, I'm still watching Ruby's getting, they're saying, okay. Kim Joy, Bryony. If you said it was vanilla in there, I don't taste nothing. Espresso martini, though, Sandy says, "Come on, she made an espresso martini for us to taste during this." Oh, no, those are the espresso martini flavored ones. Love the coffee bean flavor. Orange icing compliments your bunnies, Kim Joy. So it's half good. She says, "Thank you." She blows her hair out. She goes, "Okay, I didn't even know what Madeline's are supposed to taste like. I thought the bigger hump, the better." Ruby says, "Yeah, I was worried about the lack of the hump. Big bump, lump, whatever you want to call it." Then Rahul says, "Why is everybody laughing about the word hump?" And then we see a bee on a flower, kind of the hump of a bee. And that's it for that. Then we go to the longest ever technical challenge. Freezer, use it, Prue says. And she says, "Okay, use a freezer." And off you go. They say, "Okay, bye-bye." And Prue's going to give Paul a makeover. Noel says, "Not going to be a stretch. Technical challenge. Prue would like you to make a torta settavelli, a patisserie of 7 layers, 2 chocolate Genoese sponges, silky smooth hazelnut bavois, praline base, chocolate mousse." Quite a lot of things, a lot of words. 3.5 hours for this almost impossible task. On your mark, get set, bake. And everybody's looking over the things they say. "I can't believe this. I had never heard of this thing. Wow, this is complicated." Kim Joy doesn't like technicals. Paul and Prue say, "Okay." Paul says, "Why'd you pick this?" She goes, "Because it's a fantastic cake for semifinal. Beautiful. Also known as 7 Vales cake, indulgent. Layers." She goes through again: Genoese sponge, hazelnut bavois, 2 layers of that, praline crunch, chocolate mousse, and then the icing. She goes, "Main problem is going to be timing, because this cake has got to be in and out of the freezer, so each layer sets. And then you got to put a mirror glaze on it, and then ribbons and stuff to get it set. Gorgeous, but even a professional patissier would have trouble with this. We're asking the near impossible." But you want to get as much air in and during the mixing process, everybody says. So we get some batter folding. How long you bake for? 25 minutes. People are tasting toasting hazelnuts to make the praline. As they bake the cake. I never knew a lot of the cakes on here are baked and cut in half. I can't cut anything in half precisely. Anything you got to do, like a bagel. I guess that's like an English muffin is nice because it's already cut for you, but like a bagel or even a roll is always messed up when I do it. I guess this is just some of my personal issues. Anyway, toasted hazelnuts, praline, pâtissier, something. Rahul knows what bavois is. Then there's a good. Let's go back. Ronnie says, I love instructions. I've never made praline, Kim Joy. Caramel and nuts, eh? Ruby's cooling her praline. When the praline is set, make a paste. I guess you could blend it up. That's what Rahul does. Praline paste. Ruby says, what's a bavois? Custard with gelatin. Rahul says, Ruby says, I'm not a bavois person. And Sandy goes, I don't know what bavois is. We're not bavois people. And Sandy goes, that's a good name for a band, bavois people. Okay, so then they're making a custard. I think that's part of the bavois, the praline paste. Pulsing praline paste, that's maybe the thing. Swells among custard making, smells, chilling. Praline layer, melted chocolate. Fellutine, Rahul says. I say, yeah, I can do it because I can't pronounce it either. Cake comes out. Ruby says, okay, my cake looks okay. It's risen. It is risen. Cake was rude to Noel. Someone's cake, he says, it's talking to me. Kim Joyce, he says, I don't like the way cake is talking to me. Then people are slicing their cake into two cakes or two layers, which is interesting. I guess in a non-pro baker, what you do is you make cakes in those cake things and then you stack them. Also bake them as fast as you can. They do use, what are those things called? Things that you put a kebab on for guidance, but I don't know how you could get that through straight. Okay, halfway through you blend it in with your background, ganache and cream. Kim Joy has mousse-related stress. The freezer is my friend, it is. Bryony says, like Yoda. People really care, but I just dislike technical so much. And I think Noel's trying to say, you're going to be okay. She goes, I'm going to try. Because she's really, has mousse trouble. She's like, this is stressing me out. Then we get down to 1 hour to do the mirror glaze. You need a double cream for your mirror glaze. I've really got to zoom. She says, oh, no, that's wrong. Her mousse is not moussey. So, I mean, she really does have to do a reset. Galupi, cake around in the mousse, freeze until sets. Kim Joyce says, maybe I'm ready to go home. I don't know. And that's when Noel cheers her up. He's also got a brilliant shirt on, purples. It's, got to see it. I mean, I can't describe it. It's an indescribable shirt. It's got a lot of color and a lot of decorations. But he does give Kim Joy a nice pep talk, not prep, half an hour left, mirror glaze, got to make our chocolate curls, too hot baby. You're whisking, you're boiling your sugar, your water, your chocolates, big blob of gelatin, and that's my first mirror glaze. That's what's gloppy for Bryony. Rahul's cake is set. Ruby's cake, Kim Joy's cake. Everybody's looking. The cake is good. Now they got to put the mousse on it and try to get it as smooth as possible. Kind of like whipped cream cake here. That's one of the cakes my mom makes, or whatever. Yeah, some sort of whipped cream or something. Kim Joy says, technicals really aren't my thing. How much time's left? A half hour remaining. Let's see. Everybody's saying, okay, trying to temper their chocolate. 32 degrees. It made it too hot, Rahul says. Noel says, are you going to cry? This is a funny exchange. It's at 31 minutes left in the episode. He goes, you look like you're going to cry. You're going to cry? Don't cry. And he goes, I'm trying not to cry. Noel says, I'll cry for me. He says, please don't cry for me. Noel starts to cry. He goes, please don't cry. Please don't cry on the chocolate. Kim Joy's making her curls. Ruby's making hers. Bridie's making hers. Raul's a little frustrated. Kim Joy is definitely frustrated. Mirror glaze issues, 5 minutes. Bakers, you can do this. You can do it. Come on. We believe in you. Bridie's mousse is frozen. Kim Joy has to put hers on at the last second. Arg. Everybody's putting their mirror glaze on. Some people it's going good. Other people it is not. Bridie's is shiny but gloppy. Raul's is a little too thick. Kim Joy's still trying to do her mousse. Might be spreadable. And then you can do it. That's when you can do it. Smudge it around. Kim Joy's getting it on. Tidy it up. Put some hazelnuts on. Add some chocolate curls. 1 minute remaining. And, eventually the time is up. As everybody says, gets it done. A lot of exhales. Tortoise settavelli. Bring it up here. Bring up your tortoise setting. Paul and Peru look them over. They go to Bridie's first. A shine. Very dark, layers even, tastes great, but the coating is like a PVC. It's not good. Everybody had problems with that. So, yeah, they say I'm not appreciating that. Ruby has an even mirror glaze. The layers look good. Goose mousse layers. Good mousse layers. So they like hers. Fairly even. And does look like I'm not a super chocolate fan, but the other layers probably make it very edible. I also don't like a dense cake, which this seems like a denser cake. Soft and edible. Then Kim Joy's up. Bit of a rush, it looks like. Fairly neat. Mousse wasn't set. So you get some marbling. Very nice layers, but no mousse. Somebody told them from production. Mousse blended with the top, so very little mousse. Mousse is thin. Fruit takes it. Good praline, nice bavois, not enough mousse. And then Rahul, serious issues with chocolate mixture, bit of a rush. Nice shine, though. They take it out. Dark, almost as dark as the first one. Rubbery coating. Coating's not even edible. So then they rank them. Rahul comes in fourth, Bridie in third, Kim Joy in second, and Ruby first. Ruby's very happy. Right now they're going through third place. Rubbery on the outside. And second spot, Kim Joy. Kim Joy's got to be relieved. That's quite like this cake. Layers were neat. Just needed more mousse, basically. And she admits it. Some mousse was challenging at the end. And they say, number one, Ruby. Bridie says, yay, Ruby. Mirror glazing, perfect. Layers, delicious, beautiful cake. And then they do the talking heads. Ruby's like, what? I can't believe it. But it turns out I'm delicious. Kim Joy's happy about second. Thought I was going to be fourth. I thought about giving up for 10 seconds. I said, no, I'm going to do it. Rahul's this is another one you got to catch. Talk about like should be on the cover of a romance cooking novel. Right around with 26 minutes left, he's leaning against the fence, Rahul, out in the country, and he's talking. He cuts a striking figure. He's like kind of playing with his fingers, and he says, it's okay. Something good happens, then something bad happens right behind it. I said, dude, that's the story. I have that mindset. And Bryony says it's going to come down to the showstopper tomorrow, so that's it. Then we see sunset, the AM chain bakers walking in, and table talk. And Sandy says, usually we know where things are headed, but now it's up in the air. It's like a fresh start. Everybody's kind of even. They talk about, today's a fresh day. Everybody has to put it in for the showstopper. It's extraordinary because yesterday Rahul and Ruby flipped from top to bottom, and Kim Joy got a little bit stronger, and she's always been consistent. Bryony's kind of in the weakest position. Sandy says it comes down to personality. Kim Joy had a wobble, but she's going to have to show something. Rahul's lost his faith. Bryony's a fighter, so she can get through too. But I've been so fond of them, and I don't want to lose anybody. And they call Paul old misery guts, but I'm sure you can't wait to get rid of anybody. And they say, okay, morning, lovely bakers. You're going to have to do a Parisian window full of pastry, 3 types of pastry, choux, a pet sucré, and a puff pastry, millefeuille, or however you say them. You got 5 hours. All about finesse. Flavor and decorations are up to you. This is a high-end world of baking, so it's a tough challenge. You got to get cracking. The cakes are in the windows, perfection is what Peru, Parisian patisserie perfection from Peru. No room for error. This is the toughest one ever. This is the kind of thing Bruce says, this is a perfect thing you have at the end of a meal, a luxury. And if you've already eaten French food, it's got to be so looks so good that you can't resist it. Ball says, puff pastry's the hardest. He wants pure perfection. He says, these are amateur bakers, but this is the kind of thing you got to be really good at. Bruce says, it doesn't have to just taste good, it has to look good because, it tempts you into eating it. And 3 out of 4 bakers are taking the fast track to flakiness for this colossal challenge. They should have the Great British alliteration off. Flavor elements to create. Everybody's working. So the rough pastry shortcut is, that's what goes in the millefeuille or whatever. Rough puff instead of a full puff. Grating butter instead of laminating it. And that should allow them to do multiple layers in no time. And you chill it, go big or go home. She's doing laminated butter layers. So she's like, I'm going to be pushing myself a bit more. But you got to go for it. Everything's riding on it. So Bryony's doing a full puff pastry, walnut flavored millefeuille. That's what it is, millefeuille. I think I have it written somewhere too. Red choux pastry eclairs with funky white chocolate domes. Paul says, this is about professionalism. That's the way you got to approach it as a professional now. And it might be difficult to make that jump. But Brian goes, I'm tuned in. I've been looking up trendy patisserie pastries, and I'm going to go for it. The trendy pastries at the moment. Rahul's... He goes, I've been going down to my local high street in Sheffield and looking around and looking at the windows. And he goes, I'm going for that traditional look. I'd love to be a patissier chef. And just like him, he wants to keep the price down to earth. He's a pastry chef of the people. What a hero. Even then, the people's patissier, Sandy says. So he's making some uncharacteristically pared back things, lemon and blueberry, caramel eclairs, glazed fruit tarts, and short crust pastry in his tarts, short but buttery. Should have rolled it thicker, he says. Will says, are you good? How's it going? Are you okay? No pulse, man. But he's not laughing. Pat Sucre. Yeah, Pat Sucre. Patty Sucre. Pate Sucre? Patty Sucre. Remember Patty Sucre? She was the best. She was the fastest runner in my class. Okay, so we have the tart assembly and going to the oven, and then preparing the fillings, which have to be silky smooth. Bryony's making something that's quite sherbety. Oh, no, this is Ruby with her lemon verbena. That's what deodorant I have on. Sherbet. I'd like to know the English sherbet. I got to find out more about that. Paul sneaks some of Rahul's food while he's working on it, which stresses him out. Bryony's doing the most ambitious thing. She's really nervous. She's in tart filling, most ambitious tart filling, chocolate dome, cherry mousse, cherry jelly. But it's got a set. But she says, I got to keep going. You know, that's what I got to do. They're halfway through the showstopper. Sandy says, she goes, you want me to do it in French? She says something like, La plume in my desk. After the blind baking starts, got to put the tarts back in the oven with the fillings. Somebody says 2.5 hours are gone. Literally, they're gone. Milfoy starts to come together. Bryony has a checklist, and she goes through that. Okay, done. Got to get a full puff, more rolling and resting. I guess that's how you do it. You roll it, you rest it. That gives the layers when they're laminated with butter. Noel's like kind of bugs Ruby a lot while she's on her list. And she's like, kind of get away from me. He writes on her list, batch baking, ovens make way or something. Lot to juggle. As if they didn't have enough to juggle. They got to keep going because you have to start work on your third shoe pastry. Another Herculean challenge at this stage of the thing. Making shoe is tricky, Rahul says. I never even heard of shoe till this, to be honest. It's all about stamina. Oh, boy. But yeah, Ruby says, I got the stamina. I haven't run a marathon before. In the zone. Sandy says, are you ramped up? She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm in the zone. I ain't even paying attention to other bakers. I'm blocking everything else out and doing what I have to do. Paul says, what's the style? She goes, for the display, she goes, like a bouquet of flowers. So floral display, strawberry, mint, milfoy, chocolate hazelnut, St. Honors or something. Lemon verbena toplets topped with meringue. Pretty punchy flavors, Paul says, with that lemon verbena. Heck of a punch. And Sandy says, or Bruce says, make sure the flowers don't detract from the beauty of your bakes. No edible flowers. So then Kim Joy is also doing flowers. She's also added crackling to her shoe or something. It's a biscuit, but on a shoe pastry. Noel says, I know a lot about baking. Everything I've learned, he goes, I'm going to bake it all and eat it. And then sleep for 1,000 years. Bryony's falling behind. Ruby's piping. Kim Joy's doing like a puff nun. Religious, which is religious or something. Religious, looks like a nun. Shoe nuns, crunchy crackling topping. mango and passion fruit tarts with meringue and fresh fruit, and a milfoy with lemon, blueberry, and feathered icing topping. Sandy says, you came back from a wobble. She goes, yeah, it's my proudest moment. I really came through. Kept going. And everybody's smiling. They said, keep going, Kim Joy. Do your best. Then we get back to the baking. Bryony's playing catch-up. 220 degrees into that's, I think, Ruby's thing. I'm going to have a good sleep after this. So somebody says, no time to rest now, though. And she was going to be last minute. Then we see some lambs. 1 hour left. Come on, kids. Let's do this. You can do it. Pastry out, pastry in. Pastry out, pastry in. Then Noel goes up to Rahul. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, slicing my strawberries. He goes, what else are you doing? And he goes, dooming. He goes, dooming? What's that? He goes, oh, feel free to stay to see me dooming. Dooming? Is that a new thing? He goes, yeah. All the kids are dooming today. Dooming. Very similar. I mean, this is how my mind works, too. Ruby's trying to open up her hot pastries, a lot of stress, way too puffy, pretty sharpish. Bryony says about her flavors. Yeah, you look ahead. You gotta, oh, this is Sandy and Ruby, full bakery in here. You look ahead of the game. Ruby says, don't let the game hear that. Nobody knows if they're going to have enough time. They have to assemble. A lot of work left to do. Decorating. Putting it together. 36 pastries. No stopping. Even Kim Joy seems like she's going. Bryony's pastry is a little bit raw inside. Oh, no. No way to put it back in. Noel says no. She goes, well, it's a little bit doughy in the middle. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. He gives her a hug and a kiss on the temple. It begins in earnest, properly raw inside. Keep carrying on half an hour. Milfoy. This is where I wrote it at the end of the episode. But Ruby says, mine's too tall for a milfoy. Bryony's getting her tarts done. Eclairs and piping. Rahul's like really stressed. This is bad, really bad. Kim Joy's puffing up her nuns. Just have to go with it. Okay. This is like a lot of holy piping. Rahul's like, I can't even fill up my eclairs all the way. Ruby's fruit's not staying on her dome properly. One thing I've learned is always glaze your fruit. If you're going to be on this show, always glaze your fruits. And he had his glaze ready, Rahul. And he says, hey, you need a pastry brush. Noel, can you get me one? He goes, pastry brush? What's a pastry brush? Let me ask somebody. He goes, it's basically a brush. And he says, okay, for brushing pastry. Like a toothbrush, but longer. He says he's going to ask someone. It seemed like he was serious. And then Rahul says, I don't think I'm going to be able to glaze these anyway. 5 minutes, please stick... and then their time is up. Everybody this is a bargaining stage. You're bargaining with your pastries. Step away from your bakes. Bryony says it was a mighty cock up. One of Ruby almost falls after that. She almost falls down. She trips over something. I think she goes to comfort Bryony or Kim Joy, and she almost trips. Let's see. We have it here. Please stick, Rahul saying. Step away from your bakes. Oh, well done. Clapping. Breathing. Mighty cock up. Ruby hugs Rahul. Kim Joy says, oh, goodness. Slumps over. That's when Ruby almost slips on Bryony's stuff. We get the outside shots. Pastry shop displays. Now face the judgment of Paul and Prue. Kim Joy's up first, her milfoy, very dull look, dry on the top. Flavor's wonderful, though. Oh, no, that's not that one. Let's see. Because the whole thing is they're supposed to be delicate. and small, and these look chunky and round, big stuff. It's supposed to be delicate and punching big flavor in small cakes. Let's start with the Milfoy. Dry top on a Milfoy. Paul Hollywood does not like it. It looks dull, Bruce says. But they eat it, and they say, what did they say? Could have cooked a little longer. It has to be totally crisp, which is not good for briny. Kim Joy, flavor's wonderful, though. Paul doesn't like the look of her next thing. Her tarts, they're all broken up. Should use Italian meringue. He bites it. Love the filling. Bruce says pastry's good. Paul says, let's just move on to the shoe. Well, doesn't look too bad. A little bit burnt, a little bit dark. Terrible way to take out a nun. Everybody laughs. And this is properly filled, though, so that's the hard part. And nice orange flavor, quite tart. Paul likes that. Don't agree with the crackling. Problem is then you can't get an even bake. But nice flavor on those. Overall idea, execution wasn't as good as it could have been. And they go to Ruby, really, really, really pretty. We get a good shot of him from above. Very beautifully decorated. Exception of the Saint Honors or whatever. Too much caramel. Love the idea, but they're all too big. Some of them are huge, so now it's down to bacon flavor. Puff pastry looks good. Hoping it's not soft in the middle. Layers are good, well baked. A little, not a wet bit in there. Just how it should be. Beautiful. Really good. Love the mint. Mint is delicious and delicate. Oh boy. Okay. Next one is shortbread on the bottom. That sounds good too. Paul steps away. Bruce says flavor's delicious. Paul says clever with the buns and the chocolate filling. Base is fantastic. Crispy all the way through. Pipe works good on the tarts. Meringue looks good, but I don't like unglazed fruits. That's one of Paul's things. Come on, people. But he says your lemon curd is powerful. Holy moly. Or Bruce says that. So strong. And what a strong flavor. Maybe if you had some raspberry coulis in there, that could have. Then they go to briny. Massive. Clumsy. So they start off like pretty harsh. Looks a bit thick on the pastry. We were looking for delicacy. Clumsy. Briny always agrees with them. I just, Moose runs. Briny comments on that. That's just nice. Potent flavors, but the tart is chewy. Too thick, Bruce says. These look good, but I could see them, the red cherry things. But, if they're smaller, I could see them in a shop. He goes, what is this, just plain? And then they say it's salty, very salty. Did you, and Bryony says, I could have mixed up my salt and my sugar. Then the Milfoy, Bryony really is composed, though, because they say this is raw, salty, cooked too much and raw. Caramel's nice, though, but it's also salty. And she goes, I don't know. And I'm sorry. And Bruce says, Bryony, you have to apologize to yourself. You could do better than this. Probably the wrong time to get it wrong. Then Rahul's, they say, not finished. Why didn't you glaze these? Again, Paul stares at him. Because you can't sell these if they're not glazed. Noel really frowns at Paul's attitude. I don't know. I think they get along, though, behind the scenes. But they taste these, so this is classic. Flavor's good. If it had the glaze, it would be perfect. A little bit thick of a base. Then they go to the eclair, not completely full. They bite it. Paul's chewing. Bruce says, lovely flavor, a bit too much salt, but pastry soft, pastry's about right. Top isn't neat. Caramel's all over. Paul says, this is boring, man. Really boring. Bruce says, I wouldn't say it's boring, but it's not the most exciting eclair I've ever eaten. Then Paul says, this one worries me, the milfoy. And then they taste it and they say, holy moly. I didn't think I was going to like this. Delicious, really good. Looks hideous, tastes amazing. They say thank you. He says the curd, the blueberries, the cream, stunning. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you. Then we see Kim Joy tasting one of her things. Rahul, can't even look up. Then we go outside, the table talk. Okay, semifinal, Parisian window. Is this what you imagined? Almost there. Some of them are nearly there, some off the mark. Rahul didn't have a good day. Looked terrible. I don't know what happened to him, Bruce says. He's definitely taking a step back. Let's talk briny. I was surprised. Bruce says, this was the day to pull out all the stops and be your best. And if you got your salt and your sugar confused, and maybe that's what happened. Ruby did overall well. Love her shoe. Biscuit base. That actually worked. Fabulous flavors, Bruce says. Pastry is beautiful. And they liked the idea of Kim Joy's thing. Pretty good. Flavors were there, but I didn't enjoy the crackling, Paul says. But of course they say if they're going to had to eat one thing, it'd be Rahul's milfoy. So sensational. Sandy's even eating one to test it out. She can't get it in there. Double-decker minibus. Biggest thing I've ever seen. You won't have to eat for a week. Then we go back. This is it. The moment we haven't been waiting for because we love these four so much. They say, okay, lovely bakers, thanks for getting through. Noel gets the job of announcing the star baker. And he says, star baker is Ruby, but it's a subtle thing because, they're worried. Everybody's holding hands. Ruby does smile and cover her face. Everybody else is happy for her, really happy. On a roll, baby girl, on a roll. And Sandy tries to be professional, but she's really close to these players. So she goes, it's tricky because we're so fond. I might cry now, too, just because Sandy's powerful, man. Fortune nature in this tent. Wow, I'm really feeling it. And I'm afraid, because Bryony's great, man. Just spent a lot of time with her, too. And Sandy says, I'm afraid it's Bryony that we're going to lose. Bryony's, it's emotional. So sorry, my friend. So sorry. Thank you for your kind words. Bryony says, yes, sad to not be going through, but I made it very far. And what an experience. My musketeer, Ruby calls her. Bruce says, nobody want to see Bryony go. She's good at coming back when things didn't go well. Bryony talks about her love of baking. And I'm proud of myself. So I'm very proud of myself. And Rahul kind of stares. He's in shock. The person who never baked a single cake until his 29th birthday is a finalist. Then everybody hugs each other. Fantastic final. Paul's expecting artistic flair. Bring their A game. It's going to be the best final ever. I promise you. Ruby tells Noel, I bet you're shocked. Kim Joy was hoping. So then everybody has 2-star bakers. Most evenly balanced final ever. Right? Says she looks off camera and the episode ends. So that's it. And we'll be back soon with the final episode of this season of the Great British Baking Bake Off to sleep. Good night, everybody. All right. I want to thank everybody that reviewed the show recently in Apple Podcasts. Doppel Kitty. The kitty that looks like another kitty said it's all great. I love this podcast. Anybody, this podcast about, helping other people. Thanks. Still 6 from Australia. Did not like the podcast. Bunny Squirrel koala mouse emoji in the BA to the D. Also, Jenny 13. People with numbers don't like they didn't like not rest promoting, let alone sleep inducing for me. Storyteller's voice does not have the even tone, deep resonance and overall, so it didn't work for them. Zynga 30, though, did. Really works. Never been able to sleep at night for some reason. Tried everything. Meditation, medication, eating healthy, working out. Nothing really ever worked. And I asked someone what to do, and they recommended this podcast. Don't know how it was supposed to help me sleep, but after a few tries, it really works. I would normally skip around 30 minutes to skip the intro. When I'm getting to bed, sometimes I'll get ready. But of course, this is not for everybody, so try a few episodes and see if it works. Gino Bambino wanted to say thank you. I love all these in-depth reviews. Haha, like they get charged for this. This is supposed to be simple, silly, boring ramblings, which they are. Keep on keeping in. Thanks. Thank you. Kelso says, thanks, Scooter. Maybe this podcast is not for everybody, but it helps me 100% successfully. At first, I was skeptical, but Scooter's ramblings helped get a peaceful and effective rest. Thanks so much. Bull, and that's really their name, said awful. Then Jack, actually, this Jack person writes reviews all the time. And Joanne says, proof sleep is possible. Stay ridiculous. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for taking time to review the show. Sleep With Me exists as a free podcast because of people that support the show on Patreon, support our sponsors. And we grow as a podcast by people free sharing the word, spreading the word, or sharing their natural reaction with the podcast. So if you could do that, that's a huge help. But yeah, thanks so much, and good night. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Helix. It's a mattress that's a big part of my life, but it might not be a part of yours. Maybe you and someone else in your life can't agree on bedtime. You might not be able to agree on how much they snore nonstop versus you trying to sleep, but maybe both of you could agree that you need a new mattress. So maybe together, or maybe you're like me, you say, Scoots, I'm flying solo. Well, you deserve a new bed too. So maybe all of us need to get over and take the Helix quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. The quiz just takes 2 minutes to complete, matches your body type and sleep preferences, finds the perfect mattress for both of you. With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way you sleep, and everybody's unique. So Helix has different mattress models to choose from: soft, medium, firm, ones that cool you down if you sleep hot, even a Helix plus-size mattress for plus-size people. Now, I got the Helix Dusk because I sleep warm, I toss, I turn, I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, and I love my Helix bed. Like I talked about last month, I was away from it for a little while, and I missed it so much. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't ever have to go to a mattress store, deal with salespeople, deal with setting up delivery and arranging all that. And Helix is awesome, but you don't have to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. And just got to go to helixsleep.com/sleep. Take that 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a customized mattress that'll give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/sleep. That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/sleep for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. And then send me your success videos when you get that test, when you get that mattress, when you get it unboxed, you get it set up. I love hearing about it. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about an app I use on a daily basis. It's become a foundation of my daughter and I's time winding down and then connecting afterwards. It's a huge part of my life, and that's the Headspace Headspace app. And I know a lot of you think to yourself, man, I could really use a pocket-sized guide, something I could just pull out that would help me sleep better, focus better, act better, and just be present in my life. And if you have 10 minutes, Headspace can change your life. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations and an easy-to-use app. It's one of the only meditation apps advancing the field of mindfulness and meditation through clinically validated research. And you got to trust me on this. This is something I use regularly, daily, all through 2020 and 2021. So whatever the situation, Headspace can really help you feel better, whether it's you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious. If you're feeling overwhelmed, Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you. And if you need help falling asleep, Headspace has wind down sessions their members swear by. And for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations you can do with your kids. Headspace's approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, and increase your overall sense of well-being. It's been there for me. Headspace is how I've helped take care of myself and my daughter. It's been a part of our resiliency and a part of the joy that we found throughout the past few years. And Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits. It has 600,000 5-star reviews and over 60 million downloads. Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anytime, anywhere. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/sleepwithme. That's headspace.com/sleepwithme for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. That's the best deal offered right now. Headspace.com/sleepwithme today. Free 1-month trial. You deserve it. Test it out and let me know about it. Thanks, everybody.